Classy Lady. Why don't you go ahead and tell me how your day was and go right into good news and bad news?
All right, I'm gonna tell you how my day was. It was awesome. I went to a very expensive free concert featuring Jill Scott and Erica Badu virtually. So it was from my bedroom. I had my cheese, my wine, my grapes, and it was wonderful. I'm loving this quarantine to get those free concerts from legends, like that. So, all right, and I'm gonna go straight into the good news and bad news. I'm gonna hit y'all with the good news first so that we can have a short discussion about the bad news. All right, her name is Dr. Kizzmekia Shanta Corbet, aka Kizzy, and she's from Hurdle Mills, North Carolina. Dr. Corbett is 34 years old, and she's a Black American immunologist at the Vaccine Research Center at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. Why am I talking about her? Because Dr. Corbett is the lead of the VCR Coronavirus team in efforts to creating a vaccination for COVID-19. Corbett's team began first stage clinical trials on the COVID-19 vaccine, and the first of its kind in the world, and the fastest progress ever towards a possible vaccine for novel pathogens. So have y'all heard of her?
No, hell no.
No.
Yeah, well, you're
Wow.
going to. Yes, because as the pandemic arises, this is who's creating our vaccines. Corbett loves science and she stuck to her plan, majoring in biology and sociology at the University of Maryland, and dividing her time between the lab and field work on health outcomes in diverse community. Corbett earned her doctorate from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill in 2014, and she turned her attention to the coronavirus when she joined the NIH Vaccine Research Center as a postdoctoral fellow in 2014. So Corbett and her members of her team had identified a particular spike protein in coronaviruses, like the COVID-19. It sticks out from the virus surface. They have like claw-like shape and it permeates the healthy human cells, infecting them. So building on decades of research by many scientists, the potential NIH vaccine uses a genetic code sequence known as a messenger of RNA or mRNA to prompt the body's immune system to react when the spike protein is detected, blocking the infection process. So that was a quote from basically an article that she spoke on. And guess what this information was? This was
Well,
some of the science that she explained to Trump and his team when they came during his NIH tour. So he was looking at her like, "What are you saying?" I mean, but
mhm.
that's she's the one in charge.
Wow,
Yeah. So
interesting.
kudos to you, Dr. Corbett, Kizzy. Okay, we have some bad news. So here's the bad news. When my son leaves the house, and even at 23 years old, I always ask him, "Son, where are you going?" Or I'll say, "Son, don't play your music loud while you're driving, and don't put your hoodie on if you get pulled over by the police. Call me if that happens." And then I say a small prayer, and his response is, "Mom, I'm only going to the store." But sadly, this is the reality of numerous Black families. What was Ahmaud Arbery's conversation with his mother the day he lost his life? Ahmaud Arbery lost his life for one reason and one reason only, and that's for being Black in America. Arbery family says that he was jogging in Satilla Shores neighborhood just outside Brunswick, Georgia on February 23rd when three white men saw him running, jogging, but they said running in the neighborhood, and they armed themselves with guns before getting in a truck to pursue him. I want everybody, as you listen to my voice tell this story, close your eyes. There's a Black man just jogging in a neighborhood, and that three white men see him, and then they arm themselves with shotguns because he's jogging in the neighborhood. So we do have a video. I'm not sure if it has any audio to it, but the video is very difficult to watch. There's two vehicles involved. One was filming, and the other was occupied with two white men who killed an unarmed Ahmaud Arbery in cold blood with 3 shots. So I'm going to describe it for those who may not be able to see this live. So here it is with the person who's actually filming it, and you can tell that they must have blocked him off beforehand, as and we have a little bit of glitches. And then Aubrey ran around the truck, and then he's basically fighting with one of the people off, one of the white men off of the truck, and then the other white man comes off the truck, and you hear the 2 shots. And then after that, after the third shot, he falls to the ground. So he was fighting for his life. He fought and defended himself like a soldier. Once he realized that they cut him off and he couldn't go any further, he fought for his life. So some people say, well, why was he running? Would you run if you was being chased by two men by men with guns? The other vehicle that was filming, it's evident in the video that you can hear the driver cock his gun back too. So the killing occurred on February 23rd. The killers were finally arrested, and it's a father and son, on May 7th. Now you do the math. February 23rd to March 23rd to April 23rd to May 7th, over 2 months. There were no arrests initially made until Georgia's Bureau of Investigation stepped in and got involved. And this is possibly due to the video going viral. The case will go to a grand jury. The first two prosecutors assigned to the case had to recuse themselves due to their relationship with the killer, who was a retired police officer. I purposely left out the names of the killers and will identify them as killers. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic and emergency closing, it may be till mid-June before any procedures happen. Once this does go to court, we pray that this case is not a repeat of the injustice we saw with so many of our Black people in similar tragedies like the Trayvon Martin, because Georgia's law allows open carry and citizens arrest and lethal force. Now, the killers are claiming self-defense, and allegedly the neighborhood has cited some burglaries. Although the reports show from the police department, spokesperson said there were no break-ins reported for that neighborhood. Yesterday, May 8th, Ahmaud Arbery would have turned 26 years old.
God, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, that's really sad, man.
And that mother, I don't know how she's doing it, because she's
It's
like being interviewed and she's on TV and she's looking strong. I'm sure behind the scenes she's kind of breaking down, but like
Yeah.
my
and she
heart just
yeah, I mean, honestly, when I was writing this story, the tears just kept falling because I have a Black male. I have a Black son who,
yes.
when he got his license at 16, I'm telling him, son, put your hands at 3 and 6. If you get pulled over, be respectful. Say no, sir. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Why is it that I have to be feeling when my son goes out because of the color of his skin that he's going to be feared by whomever, police, citizens, whoever it is, because of the color of his skin? So if I can feel like this and my son is still living and breathing, then I know this mother aches. I
Hmm.
just, and my heart aches for her. It really, it does. And it's just, we as a community have to do better. We have to make sure that we start our own neighborhoods, our start being a part of the laws. We have to start creating our own story, our own history, and not his story, because these are the
Right.
outcomes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
It's
right. You're
it's
absolutely right about that. Yeah. It's one of those things where I don't think a lot of people understand their privilege when it comes to people who don't necessarily look like us, right?
Mm.
They have a privilege where they don't have to essentially worry about having a discussion like that, that you had with your son as it relates to their boys or their black men that, okay, well, listen, when you go outside, it's certain things you must do. I want you to make sure you pull off your hoodie. I want you to make sure you be kind, courteous, and thank you, sir, and no, sir, to the cops if they pull you over. I want you to make sure that you put both hands on the steering wheel and make sure you look and smile. Open your window, turn on all the lights, roll down all the windows. Certain conversations that, certain demographics and communities has to have that a lot of other people don't necessarily have to. And that's just one thing that we have to just acknowledge and know that, certain people, has a certain privilege and it's okay. It's just making sure that you acknowledge and oftentimes use your privilege to assist. If you call yourself someone who loves me, you call yourself someone who respects me, and you're my friend, and we break bread with each other and we potentially get stopped, you're supposed to utilize your privilege. You're supposed to utilize certain things. Because I know one thing, if you're with me and you're coming in my hood, you have nothing to worry about if you're with me. Because I'm going to make sure that I use my privilege as it relates to my own communities to protect you. And once we start realizing that as it relates to like a people, we are a people, right? And we need to protect and love each other. It shouldn't be any issues like that.
Yeah, and I think another thing, just real quick, that kind of like just bothered me is the rash of social media posts that I'm seeing from our non-minority counterparts saying that these killers were defending themselves, that, just I saw a picture of a white man with a gun saying that y'all black people are not ready for a race war. He has an AK-47. It's just like I had to get off of social media really after that. I'm like, I can't watch it because it's making me angry, and it's making me I don't want to say like feel some type of way about that race particularly, but like it just really bothered me because I was seeing like even friends of mine, they were reposting some of this, and it's just like, yeah, they don't get us, they don't understand us. So, they would believe. I'm getting ready to go somewhere too deep into it because, like, even when police testify and they're saying certain things, they believe the police just because they're the police. Like, that's a whole other discussion for another day. But I'm gonna just leave that alone right now.
I feel your pain, and you're right. And I think
I couldn't believe
how
it.
how can you be defending something and this man has no weapons? That's the point. Like, you're
Right.
defending what? If you wanted to fight him, here, hold my rifle. And you're a retired police officer, so you know what the rules are in regards to somebody being unarmed. He's unarmed. Like, come on.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
now Georgia has not now, but they have the similar law that Florida has in a stand your ground or a citizen's arrest with lethal force, and they're going to now try to use that. And like you said, Sizzle, they have a huge fund GoFundMe for these two killers, and I just it's it's crazy how you can see in a lifetime a black president, and then in the same lifetime we're still going through what slavery was in the 1600s, and now we're still going through that in 2020. Let it make sense. How it doesn't make sense to me, and it
Right.
infuriates me. It does. It infuriates me.
And I think the only time that we will see laws like this change is when we try to use those against them.
Well,
Well, it starts with the money, and
definitely
that's what
starts
we
with
need
the
to
money.
do. So that was your good news and your bad news from Classy Lady Sparkle.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Lauren Sizzle
And Classy Lady Sparkle.
And have you subscribed to our channel yet?
If the answer is no, you need to subscribe now.
Yeah, so stop what you're doing. Go right now and subscribe. We like you. You like us. So go ahead and subscribe.
Come on over. Be a part of the family of We Talk Weekly and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So what are you waiting for? Subscribe
Now.